All right, what up, everybody? This your boy Black Magus, and this is Gaming Enclave. Say what's up, Pete,
Hey, what's going on, guys?
and welcome to the Sharpshooting podcast, the early slash late edition. Early for me, late for Pete. I'm sorry for posting this so late. Schedule conflicts, things like that. Anyway, it's not like we were in a rush to talk about this because Raw was horrible. The lead into the Royal Rumble. Just go ahead, Pete, and start the lineup so we can get through this because this is going to be painful. This is going to be very painful, people. Trust me.
Well, to honestly, this is the key example of what we spoke of last time, how the writers, they don't know how to schedule matches and stuff. This is just a whole bunch of rushed Raw, but Raw kicked off with Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman, which, if anyone missed last week's Raw, as you know, Seth Rollins ended up curb stomping Cena and Brock Lesnar, and Paul Heyman went to talk, and then all of a sudden, Brock Lesnar grabs the mic. And Brock Lesnar is the weirdest voice for a guy his size. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, you
Like
would think
that.
that he's had some big, like, booming, scary voice and just pretty, like,
Yeah. And then
creepy.
he's calling out Seth Rollins, saying that he basically wants to beat his head in. And then Triple H comes out, and then Lesnar ends up threatening him as well. Then Stephanie, Kane, the Big Show come out, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. And this segment, mind you, went on for ages. I feel like that was like 30 minutes of Raw
Yeah,
right
it
there.
probably was the first half an hour of Raw.
And then after that, you had Seth Rollins on the TV talking, and then Cena came out, and this is where things got like kind of weird when they offered Cena that, like, let the crowd decide if you put your Royal Rumble spot, the Royal Rumble spot in the Triple Threat on the line tonight against a random opponent.
Right, yeah. And it was kind of, once they did that, it was kind of obvious. So, not to foreshadow anything, but now we know Ryback, Eric Rowan, and Dolph Ziggler are going to be in the Royal Rumble. But
Yeah,
that was my thought when they said you got this match and we need people to vote. I was like, okay, this is their way of finding an angle to put those three in the Royal Rumble because they were supposed to be in there anyway, and you kind of can't have Dolph Ziggler not in the Royal Rumble. Him and
it's
Kofi
true.
Kingston kind of make Royal Rumbles interesting because they do the craziest things in the ring. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and I felt like the segment itself was on and off. It had its moments, but after that, it just I can't really explain that. The transition was just like they just stopped talking and everyone went their own separate ways, and then it was like, okay, so there's that. But the first match of the night was Daniel Bryan versus Bray Wyatt, and it's actually pretty cool to see Daniel Bryan back. I missed his match on SmackDown. I don't know if you ended up catching that one
yeah.
against
I
Kane.
actually watched SmackDown because of that. I honestly I tuned everything else out because it really wasn't worth mentioning. It was pretty much same stuff that we saw kind of on Raw, to be quite honest. In fact, I
Yeah,
think it was the same exact matches, with the exception of the you know, skits and all that. Yeah, damn,
yeah.
that's bad.
It
That's
was a
really
copy.
bad. But no, SmackDown was not memorable. Only to see Daniel Bryan. It was good to see him work. You saw him like you could tell they had him intentionally doing certain things and being hit by certain moves to show that hey, I'm okay. I could take a hit. He looked good. The match pretty much was about the same results as this one, but um, he has two matches actually. Now that I remember, because the first one that he had, it kind of got disrupted, and then they were like, "Oh well, since you guys are all fighting, because who came out with him? They tried to jump him, and then Roman Reigns came out, and Dean Ambrose came out. So then they were like, "Oh well, since you guys want to all fight, we're gonna have a six-man tag." So at the end, it was like Big Show,
Yeah,
Kane, and I think Seth Rollins. Yeah, Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose, Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns, and that match was okay. I mean, Roman Reigns did his Roman Reigns stuff.
His
But
usual
Daniel
Roman
Bryan
Reigns thing.
definitely did steal the show. Him and Dean Ambrose. So it was good. They actually put him in 2 matches. He looked very, very healthy. So I was glad to see that. But let's go back to the Bray Wyatt
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan thing.
For that match, the whole Bray Wyatt, Daniel Bryan, I feel like their matches are so intense in the ring. They have really good chemistry, and I saw that at the Royal Rumble last year. They had one hell of a match. It's probably one of the best matches in WWE I've seen in a while. And I feel like that as I said, they have great chemistry in the ring. But at the same time, because it was the first match I was seeing Daniel Bryan back in, he was taking these hits and he was grabbing the shoulder, and I was just like, I felt like he was going to get injured again. That's the last thing I wanted. But then,
Yeah, no, I think what they were doing was kind of playing up like some of the stuff too that went on during the match. They were kind of playing this whole, Kane's been trying to get him and tear him down type of
yeah,
scenario.
I don't like that feud much at all, the whole Kane, Daniel Bryan thing. I understand they had that Team Hell No and then it broke apart, but it's dragged on for like way too long. Honestly, WWE need to find another way to make Kane relevant than having him hang off Daniel Bryan. Jesus.
Yeah.
But Kane interrupted the match, which was kind of random. It was just random because they were like fighting on ringside, basically, near the ramp. They were fighting at the bottom of the ramp, and then Kane's just walking towards the ring. And then I was just like, okay, like surely they could have planned that a bit better. He comes out when they're in the ring or like off to the side, not when they're actually like he's gonna have to walk past them on the way in.
I know. They just need to give FaceTime to Kane, I guess. I don't know. But
the
hey,
match,
it builds up, I guess, the quote-unquote drama for the Royal Rumble, too, because now you have that going on during the whole Royal Rumble, I guess. That's where
yeah.
that's going to play out.
But this match ended. I was actually quite surprised with the ending, to be honest. I thought Daniel Bryan would win. Turns out he lost. He got Sister Abigail. Obviously, off the distraction by Kane. I'm pretty sure he ended up. Was it he pulled him down and then threw him back in the ring? I think that was the direction they headed in. Like Daniel Bryan was outside the ropes and then he got his legs pulled, and then Kane threw him back in. But
yeah, okay.
honestly, that match was actually not too bad. Like I said, Daniel Bryan, Bray Wyatt, good chemistry. They have good matches. Honestly, they need to figure out what they're doing with Bray Wyatt and quickly. Like, I'm so sick of him being a guy that just kind of like, with all this talent, he just sits there.
He's the I'm going to put you over guy, and that's the thing I don't like. Because if you need a good match, if you're having a bad run, him and Dean Ambrose are the people that you throw in to make you look good. And I don't like how they do that with them. I think that they need to figure out where they're going to go with them. This is why their whole like structure with the belts and how, they basically don't consider them important at all hurts, because at least if the belts mattered and maybe if there were a couple of more belts, you could build some storylines. You could have these guys chase some people. You could set up rivalries. Instead of just having a random Joe hold the Intercontinental, have somebody who everybody's gunning for, who can build a feud with, consistently. Wade Barrett, nobody cares about him. I mean, Wade Barrett's cool, but nobody really cares about him. He does nothing for story. There's
That's true.
He just came back randomly and he got the belt. Having people, Rusev is okay with the U.S. belt, but it's kind of a stale storyline because it's just always going to be USA versus Russia. So outside of that, he can't build any real stories. So you have no way to branch out with him if you needed to pull in Dean Ambrose or Bray Wyatt, because it wouldn't make any sense for any of them to feud with him for the belt. So they got to figure out like a better agenda of mixing up people and giving them, spotlight. Give them something to chase and give them some type of importance. Because if you don't want them to go for the belt, the main belt, you have to have them going for something and not just these random matches,
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think back when Cody Rhodes held the Intercontinental, I thought that was actually the last time I actually cared about the Intercontinental Championship. And since then, it's just it kind of seems like a belt that just gets passed around just to keep fans basically following it, I guess.
Yeah.
You know who the champion is, but it just passes on every month. But like you said, they definitely need to work. They need to honestly split. I don't like the idea of having one overall champion because I feel like that dominates. That's the reason every belt in the industry is being worthless. Like even I would say even the tag team titles. No one cares about them. Like there are no belts besides. Well, actually, now that you think about it, even the world heavyweight belt. Do you actually care about that? Like,
yeah, because it was on SmackDown and nobody cared on SmackDown. But they have to figure out something. They have to get a change of direction and start making the belts matter.
mean something. I would go as far to say the NXT Championship belt is worth more than any belt in the WWE.
Oh, no question. I mean, they really compete. It's competitive. You show with the stories that they tell at NXT.
Like Sami
Everybody
Zayn.
wants to be on top. Everybody has, the goal is to prove yourself that you are the best. And I feel like in WWE, it's just, okay, well, you got your set group of people who can fight for the belt. Everybody else are just wrestling because we just need to fill spots at best.
I think that's the whole Vince look in the WWE and the Triple H look in the NXT, like how they have different views. Like yeah, Triple H has a really modern view on how WWE should be, and he's using that at NXT to make it interesting. Basically, everything we want the WWE to be, but Vince is caught in the past and he won't let go. So I don't know, just something has to happen there. But honestly, the next segment didn't get any better because that was the whole Royal Rumble Legends thing. And Ric Flair, I'm surprised he even made it to the ring, to be honest. Let me be honest with you.
He sobered up, I'm sure, for that moment. Actually, no, I take that back. He couldn't have been sober for what happened at the end. So, yeah.
But, Hulk Hogan came out first, then Ric Flair, then Shawn Michaels. And they did that segment was boring. There were some funny moments, like when Shawn Michaels made reference to the whole SummerSlam 2005. Yeah. That was funny, but honestly, they had the whole predictions who they think will win, and you had who was it? I'm pretty sure Hulk Hogan went with
Daniel
Bryan. Then Ric Flair went with Dean Ambrose, and Shawn Michaels went with this is going to be on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, I cannot remember. Who did he go with? It was someone. Wasn't Roman Reigns, wasn't Kane. It was someone I think we don't like. I know that for sure.
We would have remembered it by now. But they did their whole thing, and then the Big Show came out, and he was saying that they were all jealous of him and all this. And then Ric Flair did what you said he must be drunk to do. He gave the Big Show one of those backhands. Right. And started hitting him.
And the reason I say he was drunk was because he took a hell of a hit. Like, if he starts dancing, I'm just sitting there laughing. I'm like, oh my God, he's going to get destroyed. And all of a sudden, you get popped.
Can I say?
A really hard hit on the canvas, too. He took he was still wrestling type of bump.
Can I say I saw that punch, the knockout punch, coming from a mile away?
Everybody saw it. And then it's like, oh my God, that's old. My thought was, old man's about to get killed.
I think that was all our thoughts. But Roman Reigns came to the rescue, and basically, they hyped it up as he eliminated the Big Show. That was kind of how they portrayed it,
over
as
the
him
top
knocking
of
them
the
over
rope. Oh, yay.
and that led to I don't know, that whole segment for me was just boring and kind of stale. I mean,
Again,
I
they had no idea what they wanted to do leading into this Royal Rumble, so they just threw that on there. I don't.
and can I like from here on out, basically at the end of that segment right there, it was an hour and 2 minutes into the show with only an hour left. So there's been one match and two talking segments in an hour, and they only have 2 hours. This is where we said the time management, because in the next like what 4 matches I'm going to read off, they went in 5 minutes.
Yeah, pretty much.
So the second match was another one of these matches Dean Ambrose always finds himself in. Irrelevant matches that mean nothing, and he just gets thrown in. He had the match with Bad News Barrett, and I thought it was cool, them being I thought it was really going to be Dean Ambrose looking to push to win, to get in the Intercontinental Championship thing, like in that title frame. But really, it was just like him showing off he has a sore knee, and then copping a dirty deed. No, he actually ended up winning with the dirty deed.
Yeah.
He did that DDT.
Which again shows championship not that much, because you having your Intercontinental Champion on Raw losing a non-title match. Why are you even fighting non-title matches on your headline show?
This is what I meant to say. Sorry. This match will mean nothing because it's basically all it was Dean Ambrose to have a push going into the Royal Rumble. Him beating Wade Barrett does not equal him having a championship match like it should. Instead, it's just used as, this guy's crazy, he's going into the Royal Rumble with all this momentum.
Right.
It's a wrong way of looking at it. It's the reason. Do you remember when Dean Ambrose was US champion?
Briefly, it was something that they didn't do. I don't think they handled any of the championships they gave the Shield well. I don't think they did the titles, the tag team titles, well. Nor do I think, and I think they really did a shitty job of Dean Ambrose being U.S. champion. It was just okay, he had it, and then they did nothing with it.
Yeah, if you go back, if people watching, if you go back and you check, Dean Ambrose only defended that thing within a year. I think he held it for almost a year, just over a year. He only defended it like twice within a year, and then he ended up losing it to Sheamus, which was absolutely hideous because no one likes Sheamus. Let's be real.
Exactly. It's like, why are you stripping him of the title? It would have actually been better if he would have broke out of the Shield with the title. That would have been a hell of a run. If they would have had a breakout with the title and defend it like that.
Yeah. But like I said, the Bad News Barrett, Dean Ambrose, good. That's a match I would like to hear for an Intercontinental Championship match. It'll make Bad News Barrett seem more appealing because right now he is the Kofi Kingston of the Intercontinental Championship. Yeah. He's just holding it. But if the show couldn't get any worse, this was probably the worst thing I saw on Raw. And this is the New Age Outlaws versus the Rosebuds. And what was that intro? The New Age, not the New Age. What was the intro that New Day did? Can I say that? That was retarded.
Yeah, I was very upset. I'm like, no, don't make this worse by having them talking and actually hyping this bullshit, that they got you doing. I really didn't understand when Kofi came out and started talking. I was like, oh no. I cringed. I was really upset. I'm getting upset again now. I was upset because I was just like, the New Day gimmick is bad enough on its own. You're not going to. That wasn't helping. That didn't help.
Can WWE just understand the fact that this is not selling at all? This three-man tag team is not working, and the whole New Day, and they just kept saying it was the worst thing. This is probably the worst entrance I've seen since R-Truths, and this is pretty bad as well. But their match was shocking. Like, I mean, shocking. I don't even want to discuss it. The only thing you need to know is Kofi Kingston won by a roll-up, which, again, annoys me because...
It was a tag team match. I mean, it wasn't my understanding. It was him and Big E versus Kid and Cesaro, right?
Yeah.
Did Big E even get in the ring? I don't even remember Big E doing it. All I remember was Kofi Kingston getting his ass kicked and then, like, pulling out a stunning victory. What was the point?
The thing I'm most annoyed with that is, why are the Rosebuds being pushed as a tag team if you're just going to crush them every time they get into the ring? Every time I see the Rosebuds, they look like a tag team that could work. Not saying they're going to be perfect, but they could work if you give them a bit of a push.
Like, team, they work well. They got good chemistry together. You know. It's a good team. If you're not going to push them for the title, at least you add somebody who can do a really good tag team match to make tag teams look good.
What does this do for the New Day? This win, what is... Okay, I need WWE to explain to us what is the overall... Like, where do they want this stable to go? It's not going anywhere. I guarantee in the next... They're going to have to break it up pre-WrestleMania. If this thing goes to WrestleMania, they're going to do a big thing at WrestleMania. It's just going to... I hate talking. This is worse than the Divas.
You know, I don't have a problem with those three being together. It's just the angle, the New Day thing. Because I think those three together work well, especially out of ring when they do promos. They're really good. They're funny. You can tell these guys really are cool and they have chemistry. They could be a really cool clique if they would just take them out of the clown costumes and the corny gimmick and just let them... I mean, I've said this before. It would have been better if they would have put them together but let them keep their identities. This whole revamping your entire, personas and all of that, it wasn't unnecessary. Big E was fine as Big E. Xavier Woods was fine as Xavier Woods. Kofi Kingston was fine as Kofi Kingston. Just let them talk more, because that's where they would have gotten over more. This whole let's all get in the blue happy suits and do gospel music thing.
Yeah,
it's
and
just,
the whole preaching.
It's just it is straight 1980s WWF, not WWE. WWF people. I'm not even going to talk about them any longer. I'm just going to move on because they just frustrate me. The next thing was the NWO promo, which can I say what Scott Hall? I'm pretty sure that's his name. He's aged terribly. The absolute worst I've ever seen. He let himself go. Those drugs and alcohol took hold on him, definitely.
Kevin Nash. The last time I saw Kevin Nash was when he beat up Triple H, and now they're smiling and hugging off camera.
Oh my God, that was bad. That was bad.
But they did their whole little promo, and I thought it was pretty cool the Ascension came out, because the Ascension had to make a name for themselves. Recently, all they've versed are jobbers, which we agree wasn't bad. It's good because it makes them look big. It shows off what they can do in the ring, right, as well as makes them a serious tag team. But they need a name to take off the list. They need someone to make them more serious. So they came out, and did you expect JBL to get up? Because I didn't at all.
That threw me okay, so at first I thought it was going to be really bad because they had him in there with NWO, and I thought, okay, they're just going to have these guys beat up old men, and then maybe someone would run in. I thought there may be a run-in after they beat them to death, or something like that. So when it took the angle it was going, I was just like, okay, what's going on? Because first it was NWO, then who came out after that?
The Ascension came out, and then JBL got up, and he went to the ramp, and he's like, I called someone I called another legend to come
And
help.
then Farouk comes out, and I'm like, "Are you really?" It's like
You're like, damn.
and then all of a sudden, New Age Outlaws show up. It's like, what the hell is going on here?
It's
And of course,
no.
they squash,
Yeah, the Ascension.
the Ascension.
Yeah, made him
And
look.
it was
Made
like,
him
I
look
mean,
weak.
I guess
It
if
was a
you
good
would have
promo.
anybody old come out and do it, they would be the ones because they still actually wrestle. And Billy Gunn is a trainer. He actually gets in the ring with all of them. So, in a sense, it was kind of like the teachers beating the students in a way.
Yeah, it was a good angle. I definitely agree with that, and I did like the fact that JBL did the clothesline from hell. I
Yeah,
thought that was cool.
that was funny. That was funny. It was entertaining. I mean, it again. It's a waste. It's a time waster because that whole segment had to. I mean, the way they did it, that thing drug out for 20 minutes, I think, because it was just like really slow how they got to each of the groups. It was like,
But by the end, I gotta say, I did have a smile on my face. Like, I'm not
yeah,
gonna
I was
lie.
laughing. It was entertaining.
Then the next segment was actually pretty funny as well, where you had Stephanie McMahon and Triple H backstage announcing who John Cena would be facing, and you had the guy with the drums, and he was stopping after everyone Triple H
that was
announced.
funny too. Triple H, Triple H, he's good. I mean, going back earlier to that segment when he was talking to Shawn Michaels and Kevin Nash and stuff like that. I mean, while that was corny, you could tell Triple H was having fun with it, and he knew it was corny, and he was actually being silly and stupid with it. He knows like how to. He's very good at selling anything, whether it be it good or bad. If it's bad, he hams it up enough to just make it like, oh, this is gonna be really bad, so I might as well just go off the rails with it. It's just like even add to it. And when it's good, he really makes it good.
Yeah, he is. I think I've mentioned this. He's my favorite wrestler of all time. Like accomplishments wise, just his whole career, just terrific to watch. But when he was announcing the whole who Cena would be facing, which it turned out is going to be a handicap match, a 3-on-1 to be basically. See, at this point, this was when I knew it was the whole John Cena has to overcome all the odds because they played that off at the start where it's like, Cena, you used to be the guy that everyone could depend on to overcome all the odds. And it turned out he's versing Seth Rollins, Big Show, and Kane, which, as if that wasn't predictable.
Yeah, because who else is Triple H going to throw in the ring with, though? Nobody.
Yeah. And then, what else was there? After that, there was, and then the guy with the trumpet came in at the very end. And I was just like, okay.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool.
I liked how Triple H was like to the drum guy, where it's like, you're never going to have a job in this town again.
Right.
I thought that was pretty cool. But from there, this was the whole thing. The whole, after this stuff happens, it's created a good vibe for Raw. Then you throw us into a Divas match. Where is the planning? Like, does anyone look at the lineups for the matches and go like, well, this is odd. Why is this here?
Yeah, it's like, I guess they told everybody to go to the bathroom at that point.
Summer Rae and Alicia Fox versus Paige and Natalya. Obviously, it's to get Paige and, because the Bellas were on ringside, it obviously was directed at them, the whole Paige and Natalya versus the Bellas. So I understand that part, but I haven't seen Summer Rae in that long in the ring, and Alicia Fox seems like...
Never see Summer Rae in the ring. Never. Why is she even on the Divas roster?
And Alicia Fox, I can't understand. She's getting a push, then she's not getting a push, then she's a relevant diva, then she's an irrelevant diva.
Yeah, and then she's with everybody. She's a heel this week. She's a face this week. She's with Miz and Mizdow. Now she's chilling with Summer. Like, what are they doing with her?
It is. I'm telling you, the Divas division. It makes me angry because I can off the top of my head think how you could make the Divas division a lot better. But this, is just not the way to go.
And then like with AJ being gone right now, you have your two best wrestling divas outside of Naomi fighting against Alicia Fox, who's cool, and Summer Rae, who she makes Roman Reigns look, like Shawn Michaels. That's how bad she is. She is really bad. She has nothing. She does nothing.
And if anyone couldn't predict the winners of this match, it was obviously Paige and Natalya. Paige did her. I thought the weird thing about Paige's submission is it sort of looks like she's going for the sharpshooter. Like, whenever I see it, I think she's going for the sharpshooter. I'm like, oh, that's weird. Natalya's right there.
And then does her. I forgot what she calls it again, too. It's been a while since I've actually seen her do it. That's the sad.
I'm not sure of the name, but she ended up submitting Alicia Fox, and then you hear Brie Bella on mic, and she's like, yeah, I wouldn't submit to that. That whole thing, honestly, Brie needs to lose the belt ASAP. They need AJ back. It's weird how dependent this Divas division is on AJ being champion. It's just incredible. But the fifth match, which was, oh god, I don't even want to talk about this. Rusev R-Truth. Rusev vs. R-Truth. R-Truth seems to find himself in the weirdest matches.
I'm trying to figure out why he still has a contract, because he does nothing at all. Like, he must do a lot of house shows. I have to look it up. He must do like a ton of house shows, because he just shows up in the most random spots, doing the most random stuff, and then the whole speech about USA and all these people want to beat up Ruth.
That's the truth or whatever. And then the only reason he was on Raw was easily because it was his birthday.
Yeah.
That's it.
But what kind of gift is that? Hey, come out here, do your embarrassing rap thing to the ring. Which, oh my God. Why does he come to the ring like that? Why?
And he sings the whole song. Why can't he just finish when he gets
the entire thing? Just play the music and go. I don't want to hear you rap. No. He's just like, oh my God. Then he does that embarrassing speech where he's talking all this trash, and then within that match wasn't even 2 minutes.
Rusev wins by the accolade. Done. I'm not going to talk about that match.
We spent more time talking about this than the match actually lasted. That's sad.
New rule when it comes to this podcast: we never talk about R-Truth matches. That's a new rule. Because he seems to just get destroyed, and we just... But then they did the whole Seth Rollins, Brock Lesnar, the whole confrontation, which I think is cool. I like that aspect where they have them backstage. Because you don't get enough of that in the WWE, the whole backstage. I mean, besides this, the last thing I saw backstage properly, besides being the whole Stephanie McMahon in her office, is the Alicia Fox beating up Naomi.
Yeah, they definitely they don't do the building heat towards the match thing anymore. Unless it's a tape promo like they had with Dean and Bray Wyatt. Other than that, they don't.
You had obviously Brock Lesnar saying, "Hopefully you get the job done, beat Cena, get him out of the match, and then I'll deal with you." And they're portraying Seth Rollins as scared. Basically, that's how I feel.
Yeah, he did a good job of doing that, because he was trying to he did the tough guy look, and then when Brock left, you could see he turned into a bitch.
And then, from there, again, you have that confrontation. You're thinking, okay, definitely the main event. It's time. Let's go. And they bring out Miz and Mizdow, and it's the Miz versus Jey Uso, which... I'm going to headbutt the table. That's it. This was when Raw, to me, was this was the worst. This was the worst filler of Raw. That's what I count this as. In animes, when there's a whole load of episodes but they do nothing, they're fillers. This is all Raw has become. It's a whole bunch of fillers. Yeah. And you only need to watch a Raw recap. That is it. there's no point watching Raw these days. Just watch recaps.
We are more entertaining than Raw. We are. I firmly believe that this podcast is better than Raw.
And Jesus Christ, last week they had the Miz win with the skull-crushing finale. This week, Jey Uso won with the splash. Who cares? That's irrelevant.
Oh, he won? I didn't even know who won. I think at some point I just started reading or something. I don't even know what I did. It was like, don't care. Who cares? Why are they still feuding? It's corny. It's dumb. Stop it.
Okay, and can you believe this is the main event was the 7th match on Raw? It did not feel like there were 7 matches on Raw. Don't lie, there was only 2.
It was just like really quick, like thrown together.
It was just because they only had an hour. In an hour, they got 6 matches in, including the main event. So beyond me, the main event, which was not bad. Honestly, the main event, despite like the time in the ring was kind of like iffy, but the ending was almost perfect leading into this was the whole Royal Rumble leading into. So the whole match, you obviously have John Cena getting the crap beat out of him, and then Triple H is on ringside basically cheering them on like, yes, destroy him. And then when Sting appeared on the screen, I almost died.
Was like, what? And I have to say, they rarely do this, but that caught me off guard. That was one of the few times that they caught me off guard, and I actually perked up because I was like, "Oh shit, it's Sting!"
They're working Sting so well at the moment. Like, he's almost perfect, and I know a lot of people say that it's going to be him versus Undertaker at WrestleMania, but I'm feeling it's going to be Sting versus Triple H.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I don't think Undertaker's coming back. I honestly think he's done.
I think it'd be best he finishes up there. Like, the loss to Brock Lesnar should have just cemented his career. There's no point.
Traditionally, that's how they send wrestlers out anyway, which I always thought was a weird tradition for you to lose your last match or whatnot. But
you had Sting come out, and with that said, you had Kane and Big Show. They go to the bottom of the ramp because Sting came out, and then John Cena rolls up. Seth Rollins, 1, 2, 3. Dolph Ziggler, Eric Rowan, Ryback got their jobs back, obviously. And then Triple H is on the table, and he's like screaming Sting. Cena's running through the crowd, and just when I thought Raw couldn't get any, like the ending of Raw couldn't get any better. Honestly, at that point I was satisfied. I was like, that's a good main event. Brock Lesnar's music hit. And I shit my pants. Like, I was just like, what the fuck? Like, what's going on here? He comes to the ring. He just straight starts brawling with... he ended up spearing down Seth Rollins. And then F5'd Kane and the Big Show.
Yeah, the Big Show F5 was kind of sloppy, but I was just impressed by the fact that he didn't just pick him up. He picked him up and he held him there for a while. I mean, he held 500 pounds on his shoulders for a good 30 seconds before he did that F5. And I don't think it was his fault that it was so sloppy. I just think Big Show
was lazy
at all. So he got him. I was like, oh shit. Like,
and especially because it was just after lifting Kane too, so he's lift one,
right,
and then he turns around and lifts the other. Like, it shows how big Brock Lesnar is, and it set up the Royal Rumble perfectly. John Cena won. He's got momentum going in. You had Brock Lesnar looking like the beast, and then you had Seth Rollins running, obviously doing the whole scared thing. It's a great.
I don't know where they're gonna go now with the with that, but we'll talk about that in a separate show. We are going to do a Royal Rumble's projection show, so expect that to come soon. But overall, what were your impressions of Raw? Let's just, what's the overall thoughts of Raw as a whole?
Raw right now is shocking. It is literally the only thing going for Raw right now is the hype they have going to the triple threat. And it's weird because a few weeks ago I remember us talking and saying, like the whole triple threat really is the only thing we care for.
Yeah.
It's weird how it's turned to that. Like at first a triple threat, Seth Rollins didn't need to be in there, but now it's like if Seth Rollins wasn't in this match, what would he be doing? Where would Raw be? I think this is the best outcome. Raw itself, they need a match manager, someone to look at the list and just go, this is retarded. Let's never do this again.
Yeah, no, they took the triple threat from something, like you said, we were like, why, to say, okay, I want to see how
Please
this
give us
stuff play
this.
out. They built momentum to the, and it's sad because this is what you should do with all of your matches for your pay-per-views. You build steam and momentum so when we get there, we're really interested in seeing what's going to happen. Whereas with pretty much everything outside of the triple threat in the Royal Rumble, there's nothing on that pay-per-view card that we are really interested in having a resolution to. There's nothing. There's no stories. It's just a bunch of randomness that, makes no sense. You might as well throw it on Raw or SmackDown. But that triple threat.
It's so true. Overall, Raw was disappointing, especially the fact that this is the last Raw leading into a pay-per-view. They say Royal Rumble and WrestleMania are their biggest main events. I would almost be fooled thinking Royal Rumble is a huge pay-per-view. Like, if you're trying to sell me on a pay-per-view, the only thing you're selling me on right now is that triple threat and obviously the Royal Rumble, because that is, even though a lot of these wrestlers have no chance at all, it's still exciting, the randomness of who comes out first.
Yeah.
Who comes out in the middle, who returns in there. Obviously, you have Sheamus and Randy Orton looking like they're going to return. Daniel Bryan says he's going to win. But we'll leave all of that Royal Rumble stuff for the predictions video.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, like you said, it will be coming soon, but I don't think I have anything left to add on Raw, like, honestly.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm looking at the clock, and I don't think we talked but about 40 minutes about this, which is sad because we usually could get an hour show out, but we can't even get an hour of conversation out of this Raw. That shows you how bad it is, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Okay, so go ahead.
I was just going to say, hopefully the Raw after the Royal Rumble will have something more to talk about.
I will say this, though. It's a good thing that the WWE Network exists now, because I don't know if you could sell this pay-per-view outside of just by its name alone, because it's the Royal Rumble and it's known and it's considered one of the bigger ones. But if you had to sell this just off of what they are presenting for it, for the normal pay-per-view price of over here it's $50. If you ordered a pay-per-view, that wouldn't work. But for $10 for WWE Network, okay, I could take that. I'm only paying $10. Any more and you're getting robbed. And I partially think you're getting robbed for the $10, to be quite honest, but that's how bad this is set up.
Oh, Jesus.
But okay.
Yeah. That's it.
Let's close this out. We will see you guys for our Royal Rumble's predictions. Pete, say goodbye to the people.
Thank you all for coming out. Like you said, we'll see you all in the Royal Rumble predictions video, and hopefully you guys enjoyed Raw a bit better than I did.
Yeah. If you enjoyed Raw, God bless you. You are a very kind person. Okay, that's it, guys. Thanks. Me and Pete will be back with our predictions. Thank you for watching the show. Hope you enjoy it. And we'll see you next time. Peace.